Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. It's 3:53 in the morning. I know that this isn't the first video up. There's a whole lot of these probably already up. Some of them from the worst people to be talking about Star Wars right now. The ones who've been complaining about Star Wars right now. And maybe I don't have much room to talk. But, because I've got the same complaints that a lot of people do. I, for one, am choosing not to see Rise of Skywalker. For the same reasons that I'm reviewing this. And that's because Star Wars doesn't feel like Star Wars anymore. Take that as you will. But I wasn't even sure about this. But I liked the look of the trailers for The Mandalorian. I like Jon Favreau. He's with Disney, and he's a good director. He's a good actor. So forgive me if this review for The Mandalorian Chapter 1 is a little meandering or a little weird because, like I said, it's 3:55 in the morning and it's the middle of the night. But I pulled out my old Boba Fett shirt to talk about this. I like the cast. I did not know it was Pedro Pascal who's playing the Mandalorian, and I'm going to keep saying that because they don't say that this is Boba Fett. And from the spoilers, if you haven't seen the episode, he looks to be wearing the armor. And while, it looks like the armor from the Disney cartoon, the Disney Christmas special cartoon, I'm not going to go right on record and say that this is Boba Fett. Because in the Lucas films, which this is, it says here in the credits, that George Lucas is given a sort of a writing character credit, at least based on characters created by. And this takes place after the Empire falls. But in the history, Boba Fett is the clone of Jango. And in the flashbacks that we get in this, where the armor for his shoulder pad is being created, you see a kid being taken away by people. And from what I remember of the prequels, he was a clone specifically created by Jango to not have any of the clone-like indoctrination put in. But this, from what I'm looking at, shows like he appears to be a kid that was taken from wherever he was born. And it's kind of vague. Like a lot of flashbacks and details and things that haunt characters are. But the first thing I'll say about this is it, at the very least, feels like classic Star Wars. In fact, it feels like the original, something that would have been an offshoot of the original trilogy. Prequels. Another good thing about this is the practical effects. I like that a lot, there's a good amount of CGI in here, sure. But they used as many practical effects as possible. Even, some of the things that he was riding near the end of the episode, while some of it was definitely CGI, some other parts were definitely people in a suit. The Gronk robot was definitely a dude in a suit. And so there's that. It's, what can you say about the acting as far as the Mandalorian goes? He's a guy in a suit, you don't see his face. So, if it's even Pedro Pascal, doing the acting behind the helmet right now, we can't know for sure. It'd be real easy for them to just put anybody in there. It's just his voice. But this does feel like, a kind of a Western. That's why I chose the music for the intro. I felt like it was appropriate. I like Who else is in here? Okay, Omid Abtahi. Now, he wasn't the same guy. He at first I thought he was the guy from Rogue One, but he is not. He plays Dr. Pershing. Who else was in? Werner Herzog was the guy who gives him the bounty. What was cool about that scene was when the door opens, you don't expect it to be Imperials, or at least somebody with stormtroopers. Somebody who's got somebody, he's taking a job from some survivors of the rebellion, which, is cool because it means, Boba Fett will still, whoever this guy is, I still want to say Boba Fett, will take jobs from anybody as long as the price is right. So it's not like it's already starting out with this kind of uncomfortable feeling because, we got to remember, these aren't good guys. These are not people that are just, they're not heroes. This Mandalorian is not a hero. Now, we're probably going to get a hero kind of story, maybe for his own race. But this isn't a guy who's just going to do, nice things for the sake of being nice. And I like that. I like that we're in the kind of seedy underbelly of the Star Wars universe. That also being said, there's not much story here. It feels kind of like, not fan fiction, but like a really, really well-made fan story. Somebody that had no money constraints. God, like I said, Jesus, it's 4:00 in the morning. I'm really, it was just kind of a taste. It was a taste of what's to come. And if what's to come is more of this, then I really like it. Who else was in this? We had, Taika Waititi was the voice of the robot. That was the other thing, is we get to see more of the bounty hunter world that we were teased with in Empire. We didn't really see much of that since. We're going to see a lot of bars. We're going to see just a lot of places that the regular Star Wars universe doesn't spend that much time in. Oh, Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers is the guy who gives him the jobs. I like that. Also thought, it was, it sounded, Nick Nolte was the voice of they had a guy play the person who trains him to ride, and I knew that was Nick Nolte, but clearly Nick Nolte is not 2 foot tall. But the whole big thing is just getting to the end of this. Who's the bounty for, and why? They're 50 years old. I thought that was a really cool twist, that it's a baby, and that it's certain races age differently, and it's one of Yoda's race. Now, I don't remember what his race is called. I don't know if they ever said it. And I'm not one of those people who has done all the deep dive research into all the Star Wars lore. I've been watching this since I was a kid. I was 2 when Star Wars came out. But it's still never been something that I've read some of the books, but I don't know what Yoda's race is called. Forgive me about that. For all of you, anybody out there that's, well, actually, but it was a really quick episode. It flew by, and I'm trying to think of more things to say. The beginning with the speeders was cool. Brian Posehn getting killed out on the ice. Just getting the feel of this world. Really is what this episode did. Man, I feel like I really am meandering here, trying to think of things to say, because more people are probably being way more poetic about it. But I feel positive. It's definitely worth, checking out. I can't wait to see where we get more of this, as we dive into the story, where Ming-Na Wen's going to be in this. Gina Carano's going to be in this. I like her a lot. Giancarlo Esposito is going to be in this. Dominic Pace. Bill Burr is in this somewhere. Who else? Man, coming down with like Mark Boone Jr. from Sons of Anarchy is going to be in this, and Patriot. He's really good in that. But somebody sent him to find this Yoda baby, and they want it alive, and that's very interesting. That's the most interesting thing about this episode is the bounty. You've never seen any other. There's only been like another Yoda in the background of like the prequels, I believe. So whatever they want this for, whatever they want the baby for, I guess we're going to see possibly a change of heart from him at some point because he's got his finger in there. And it's going to be like maybe turning into a protector kind of thing. I don't know. You know, this, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just be like, I don't care. But it's Disney and it's Star Wars, and so they're probably going to want to make this guy a hero. At least for his race. Because, wait, I did like how he took the money and had it melted down into armor. I do like that we're dealing with Mandalorian culture. It feels like we're going to dive into that. The fact that nobody's seen a Mandalorian. We might be able to deal with the Mandalorian wars and things like that. But until we get a definite, like, see, because I don't feel like this is Boba Fett, because Boba Fett is a galaxy known figure. All right, he walks into a bar, and people would know him, and it's like nobody knew who this guy was. Is that, you know? So is he just walking around with Boba Fett's armor? Or is it just really similar looking? Or you know what I mean? And if they're ignoring, if this was like a bait and switch, then there's going to be people that are crying foul over it because that's what they do. But to be honest with you, Boba Fett is a really cool looking character. And he brought a sense of dread to Empire Strikes Back, to the character of Han Solo. And I guess, you know, a little bit to the other characters. He didn't say anything. He was one of these people who he was mysterious, and he looked like he couldn't be bargained with. And people like those kind of characters. But in Jedi, he just turned out to, you know, he's in the background for a second, and when he tries to do something, he's basically just taken out. And, you know, to be fair, that's pretty true. We all love this character of Boba Fett who basically had almost no screen time and then dies pretty much immediately. But we like the look of the character and the mystery behind it. And so people have just been drawn to that character. It's actually really crazy how we all like just like something that we know no background on. So if this isn't Boba Fett, I'm actually fine with that. I think there's going to be other people that are just going to say, this is just more of Kathleen Kennedy and all of them just killing Star Wars and ruining Star Wars and blah, 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 blah. But this episode was a lot of fun, and I really wish that it was longer. Because it just, and I think that's a testament to how good it was. Because I was just sucked in, and it was over, and I wanted more. And Disney's really smart to be making these shows weekly. They'll keep people from just being doing the trial and then dumping the service, unless they want to wait until the whole thing is, you know, done, and then binge it and then cancel. It'll keep people from doing that, which is pretty smart. It's what I think Netflix and Amazon and all these channels need to start doing. Hulu's doing it. And Netflix and Amazon need to start thinking about that themselves if they really want to maintain people not taking up the free trials, because there's ways around those free trials, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. But you know, get a little clever, see what you can come up with, because a lot of people have been saying, well, I'm not going to watch this, I'm going to pirate it. They won't say they're actually going to pirate it. They just use pirate nautical terms to say that they're going to pirate this show. Whatever, man, you know. Streaming services are expensive. I don't condone it. I just say that if you can get around it, go ahead. Something tells me Disney's probably on top of this kind of thing. So that's about it. I really, normally, like I said, on a normal weekly basis, I'll be doing my reviews normally in front of my TV, playing the episode behind me, that kind of thing. But initially, I got to go back to bed after I'm done recording this because I got work in the morning. And there's about 1 million people, not even about, there's going to be 1 million of these. And there's going to be people that want to disseminate every little thing. But I don't have the time for that. Later on, when the other episodes come out, I will write notes down and give you all the full on. But here's again, to just reiterate, this feels like old Star Wars practical effects. It's maybe a cheat that the character really has no... I'm not going to say he doesn't have any development. He will get development as it goes on. But we just kind of get the basics. Man walks into a bar. and then we jump through this. Ah, God. I got to stop. I got to stop now because I'm rambling now. But I really enjoyed this. And I really like how the robot kept trying to blow himself up. That was fun. And Pedro Pascal did a pretty good job with not being able to show his face, which I actually, okay, let's really quickly, I'm really surprised that they didn't have him take his helmet off, because it's like everything else in the MCU. Like, you got Spider-Man and he's running around without his freaking mask on half the time because we want to make sure that we see the star. Like, why? Who gives a shit? I don't really care about seeing Tom Holland's face all the time. All right? I want to see them in the actual suit. Like, Captain America has the benefit of not needing a mask. But, like, Iron Man's always walking around with his helmet on. Just... So, I actually give them credit for keeping the helmet on. The joke that they make about it, I really did like that beginning sequence, too. It was the whole thing of capturing that guy and him trying to get, find a way out, and then seeing the Carbonite guys in the Carbonite, just Boba Fett standing there like freaking Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees, just standing there and has his own personal Carbonite station to create it. Now that's what leads me to this could be Boba Fett. But I want to hear how, if it is, I want to hear how he got out of Jabba's, the Sarlacc pit. I do want that. Just you give me that moment of him getting out of the Sarlacc pit, and this will be worth the payment of Disney Plus. If this isn't Boba Fett, fine, I guess. Just give me a good story. Continue on with what you're doing here, and I'll be a customer. So anyway, God, it's got to be like my worst review ever. Anyway, so. This is Robin Smirking Gun Review saying, if this didn't completely turn you off of my channel, if this is your first time here, normally I'm not in bed. Well, like I said, I took the time to get my Boba Fett shirt out. You guys can get this on T-Fury if you like it. So, there, I gave a plug to T-Fury in the middle of this episode, this review. So this is Robin Smirking Gun Review saying we'll be back with The Mandalorian next. I think they said it's going to be on Fridays. So I'll have to adjust my weekly schedule thusly. So have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.